Hi, I'm Bob Preto, Senior Vice President of Fluor Corporation's Industrial and Infrastructure Group, and today I'm going to talk about a challenge and opportunity for the next administration. On January 20th, 2009, we will see the inauguration of the 44th President of the United States. This event comes at a time when our nation is facing great challenges and punctuates an election where both candidates recognized and advocated the need for change. It is in this change where opportunity lies. What future do we desire as a nation, and what level of economic competitiveness does that future require? This is the challenge our country faces. We must set an expectation for the quality of life we wish for ourselves and our children that is affordable and sustainable. This future must provide us as a nation with the ability to respond to new challenges, man-made and natural. It must be built upon the hopes and dreams of our children, who must have the knowledge and tools to improve the world within which we live. It must be a future that inspires us and has a strong foundation. Today, one of the elements of that foundation is in crisis. The nation's infrastructure is crumbling. In order to meet the challenges of the future, we must address this situation with a broad and inspiring vision, such as the one set in 1929 in the first New York Regional Plan, or in 1956 with the dawn of the Interstate Highway era, or in 1962 when then President Kennedy challenged the nation to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. This cannot be a vision of economic stimulus and business as usual. It must be much more. We see that vision as putting in place a world-class critical infrastructure system that provides a solid foundation for the nation's health, safety, and well-being, and doing all of that by 2025. To achieve this vision, we must conceive new ideas and use new frameworks and approaches. We must act in a concerted way over a sustained period as a nation. We must keep a clear focus. Failure to put in place a world-class set of integrated and efficient infrastructure systems will slowly sap our economic competitiveness. Failure will deny us the economic resources we as a nation require to be a world leader. While the U.S. infrastructure is crumbling, our competitors around the world are improving their infrastructure systems. The time to act is now. How can we achieve this vision of putting in place a world-class critical infrastructure system that provides a solid foundation for the nation's health, safety, and well-being by 2025? Change. And it must occur at all levels and in all elements of what comprises a world-class infrastructure system. These dimensions of change include leadership. It is not someone else's duty to lead. Leadership must take place at the national, state, and local level, by the executive, legislative, and judicial branches, by the public and private sectors, and by business, academia, and all citizens. It is here where the new administration can set the pace and the tone that will be required. Education. As a nation, we do not understand the severity of the crisis. The American public, its leaders, and its children must understand that the need is not just about future success, but very much about survival, for a way of life at the very least, and in the longer term, about much more. Yes, economic stimulus based on infrastructure investment may create some jobs today and more in the medium term, but the challenge we must educate our children and fellow citizens about is much bigger. Our future is not assured, and our prospects will only grow more dire the longer we wait to address the problems facing us. Vision. The nation's leaders must articulate this vision, support this vision, and most important, drive it home. It is not a vision about concrete and steel. Rather, it is a vision about the jobs we can have, the privileges we can enjoy, the quality of life we can live, and the quality of the environment in which we will eat, drink, and breathe every day. It was this type of vision which resonated during the election, and it is this vision which the new administration and the leaders on Capitol Hill must seize upon. Decisiveness. Decisions in the 21st century must recognize that the silos of the past are barriers to the future. More holistic approaches, such as the regional approach first employed in the New York Regional Plan of 1929, or the national perspective embodied in the Pershing map that underpinned the interstate highway system, are required. Perhaps more than ever, however, we must recognize that inaction carries an unacceptable penalty: innovation. The future requires new solutions and bolder applications of the technologies we currently have. We must invest in being a leader in how we plan, deliver, and finance the strong foundations we wish for our nation's infrastructure in 2025. Governance and industry models for delivery of infrastructure must be challenged, and the barriers which limit systemic innovation removed. Again, this is an area where the new administration can lead, recognizing that change will not be popular on all fronts. Stewardship. We must be honest with ourselves on the cost of deploying and sustaining a world-class infrastructure. We must recognize the impacts of our choices and make decisions that promote improvements to the quality of life and the environment we all share. As a nation, we must make big choices that will affect generations. The new administration has the opportunity to leave a lasting template that sets us on a path towards restored prosperity and competitiveness. The challenge ahead is great, but we're a great people. The effort will be hard and the journey long, certainly longer than the 2-, 4-, and 6-year election cycles that have governed many of our more recent decisions on meeting this growing infrastructure challenge. This administration must set the frameworks which break this electoral cycle dependence and provide a sounder foundation for long-term infrastructure investment and sustainability. The cost will be great, certainly more than the tens of billions some have suggested, but failure is not an option. We must succeed for ourselves and for our children. We must succeed so the ideals we believe in have resonance in the future. We must succeed so that we remain that shining beacon of hope that Lady Liberty embodies in New York Harbor. We have the most fundamental tool required for success: the strength and determination of the American people when they rally behind a great goal. The leadership to achieve this goal must come from this administration.